My name's Colin Asare-Appiah. I am a cocktailian, hospitalian. I am Mr. Get Involved Bruv. As
Yes.
everyone knows me as, I've been in the spirits industry for all of my adult career. I'm passionate about uplifting people that look like me, people that don't look like me, and creating spaces for everybody in the industry to flourish. Because I think representation and diversification within the hospitality industry is so important. There's
Yes.
this rich vibrancy when you walk into a bar or a restaurant and you just look around and there's a kaleidoscope of cultures,
Mm-hmm.
and all of those cultures really do come to bear and to help elevate, I think, any dining or drinking experience. Because they bring their cultures to bear in the food that you eat, in the drinks that you're drinking, and the cocktails. And as long as I'm in the industry, I'll keep on doing that.
I love that.
But that's
I
a
love
little bit
that.
about me.
Yeah. 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 Well, welcome to Shake, Stir, and Mingle.
Yes.
Thank you
Thank
so much
you.
for taking the
It's
time.
just that time. It's just after tea time in
Okay.
England. Just to give you a little uh, view and insight into where I am. This place looks a little bit like Downton Abbey.
It does.
Yes.
It
It
does.
looks like Downton Abbey.
Yes,
Yes.
I see the chandelier in the ceiling.
The chandeliers, exactly.
Yes.
I just need a little bell, but you know what I mean? It's not happening. So, let's go. How are we doing today?
Oh, we're great. We're doing really
Where are
well.
you?
We're in Philadelphia, right outside.
Love Philly. It's close to my
Yes.
heart. Rich Medina, dear friend of mine.
Okay.
That's where he hails from. And yeah, I've spent a lot of time in Philly. Yeah.
We're cold over here right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cold and raining over here too. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, this could be the height of the summer. It's cold and raining. That's just how it is over here in sunny London. But it is
Oh
what it
man.
is. Where's your cocktail?
Wow.
I know. Listen, it's noon over here, and after this interview, I go back to being mommy.
I know.
Multitasking here, you know.
I know the
But there
feeling.
will
I
be a
know the
time.
feeling.
There will be
Yes,
a time.
yes.
I will.
Catch us in the evening,
In the
baby.
evening. Yeah.
Consider it
Yeah.
done.
I'm
Well,
just wondering if you're looking back at yourself, right?
yeah.
At your age now, looking back at your younger self, what's some advice you would give yourself?
The advice I'd give myself and the advice I give to everybody is to get involved. Too many times people spend talking too much and not having enough action. So one thing I always say to people is, if you're going to talk about it, be about it, get involved and do it. And so many people have some amazing ideas and they never execute it because they don't get out of their own way. If you think something's good and you want to uplift yourself and you want to uplift others, just go and do it. That's the advice I would give my younger self. And it's actually one of the things one of the principles I've always lived my life by. And it's served me well so far.
Yeah, it certainly has. It certainly has.
Here you go.
Author.
Exactly. Visionary, that tells of the
Yes.
cocktail, best
Yes.
brand ambassador as
Yes.
well
Yes.
previously. And now, the co-founder of Ajabu Cocktail Festival in
Yes.
South Africa.
Absolutely.
We're
So
so excited to hear all about. Is there one spirit or an ingredient that people may not know that you really want to shout out?
in South Africa, they have some of the oldest some of the oldest like herbs
Mm-hmm.
in the world,
Mm-hmm.
and the name of it is called the Fimbosh. Sorry, Fimbosh,
Bush. Okay.
which is a group it's a terroir of herbs and spices that you can't find anywhere else in the world. I think just out of South Africa that I've always loved is rooibos as an ingredient. I've always loved it. I love it as a tea. I love it in tinctures. I appreciate it in cocktails. It gives a beautiful aromatic note to a cocktail, and it's a beautiful red hue. And everybody loves a red cocktail. I mean, look at the rise of the Cosmopolitan. You saw that go across the room. You're like, I want that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Red always attracts our eyes. That's how it is. Also in South Africa, there's a proliferation of gins.
Okay.
There are so many people that drink gin's a big gin heavy market, and also brandy. They drink a lot of brandy, which are all fruit distillates, obviously. So if there are any ingredients that I'm looking forward to seeing how they're used, it'll be all of those. Also, the beauty of having the festival the way we do, which is we invite the best bars globally to work with the best bars locally, the best bars globally as well bring some of their ingredients and techniques and styles and ways of thinking into the mix. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how that collision of different cultures and ways of thinking, what else is going to throw up. You know, I'm a proud Ghanaian, proud African. I know our guys from front back are going to bring sobolo, you know, or what some people say sorrel. They're going to bring that and many other ingredients that they use in Ghana. Fricassee is one of my favorites as well. That comes out of Ghana. Grains of Paradise. These are all like spices and herbs and aromatics that you'll see in some of the cocktails at Ajabu this coming edition.
We're always up to learn and to expand our palette.
Yes, yeah. Always.
Absolutely.
Excellent. I love that.
So what's some unexpected place that you found such a cocktail inspiration that you will always remember?
Ooh. Cocktail inspiration from an unusual place. Well, now you made me really think about that one, haven't you? Jesus. No, it's just like I travel a lot and I come across a lot. And okay, I remember being in Brazil many moons ago, and I came across durian, which is that fruit that's super stinky but really rich and creamy texture. Smells like crazy, but tastes amazing. And when you make it into a juice as well, it tastes really, really good. Another ingredient that I've discovered on my journeys was guanabana, which is an amazing, creamy, rich, tropical juice. I've also, spending time in Ghana, as I mentioned before, fricassee, grains of paradise, I've always appreciated. South Africa, what I've recently found is in that Fynbosch, that region, that whole Western Cape, the Fynbosch that grows there. There's so many different aromas and spices. One of our partners, actually, Kurt Schlechter from Cause Effect, he's a very massive, he's a very big kind of promoter of the local ingredients in the Fynbosch, and he actually took us to this field to pick. It's called snake grass or snake weed or something like that.
Really?
But it's very aromatic, and you out in these bushes and you're picking all of these bunches of what they look like weeds, and then you're grabbing them, and then he then chooses at that point to remind you that the name of it is snake bush.
Yeah.
It's like, were you telling us that snakes are around here?
Right.
Yes, they may be. Don't worry, I hightailed it straight out of that field. You know what I mean? I'm like, thank you very much for the experience. But yeah, that's definitely an ingredient that I found, which has been unusual recently. That snake bush. Yeah.
And we want to hear more. So you're an author.
We can just sit here like
right. Let's dive into the book. You're an author now.
Yes. Oh, the book is amazing. Listen, Tamika Hall.
Black Mixolence?
Black Mixolence is amazing. Tamika Hall.
That name.
Tamika Hall is absolutely amazing. She approached me with the publishing house to write a book. It was actually during COVID. Or it was just before. I said, hey, listen, we're creating this book called Black Mixolence. We would love you to be involved. And the premise of it is to share stories of what's happening in modern day mixology culture through the Black lens. And I've always been a massive supporter, as I said, of Black excellence and mixolence in the industry. And I come from a background of that. Growing up in London, there was people like Dre Masso, John Gakuru, Douglas Ankara, God bless his soul, Dimi Lazinska. And Douglas Ankara actually created a porn star martini. But with that being said, when we were starting in the industry, the only book that we had as a reference point by a black author was Tom Bullock, The Ideal Bartender. That was in 1917.
Wow.
1917, The Ideal Bartender comes. You know what happens in 1917? Prohibition. So what happens to the book? It goes. I'm like, wow, trust is luck, right? The first black man to write a book, and then Prohibition comes and knocks it out. But the good thing about it, I mean, yeah, I know that sucks, right? But guess what? That book is a really great bookend to the last golden era of cocktails, because the last golden era of cocktails happened in about the 1860s to 1917 when Prohibition occurred. Now, as a black man to write a cocktail book, I mean, prior to that, you couldn't actually write a cocktail book because prior to the abolition of slavery, if you wrote or you could read, it's a death sentence, right? We write about it in the book, actually. And so a lot of the stories that we have as black people were untold. Yeah. And they were just handed down by oratory traditions. So the people that wrote it down owned the history. So they claim that they invented this and they claim that they invented that. And I'm a big believer in a lot of cocktail culture started in the US, and it was done by black people. And a lot of the cocktails were created by black people, but we can't obviously claim it because we didn't own the written history. But with Tom Bullock writing The Ideal Bartender, it was the first time we actually saw representation, and it really mattered. But guess what? The next book that you saw was, I think it was a rum book by Jessica P. Harris. She wrote High on the Hog, which charted foodways through Africa to
Yeah, I saw that.
America.
Yes, I know exactly what
Yeah, and then it wasn't until the mid 90s that my dear friend Douglas Ankara wrote a cocktail book, Shaken and Stirred. So there were literally a handful of books that had been written, and there's a couple of others, but not too many to shout about. So when we were writing this book, we thought it was really important to even start the process of ensuring that we had stories to tell about black culture and what black people have had, the impact that they've had on the cocktail culture. Interestingly enough, we were nominated for a lot of prizes, and we were recognized for a lot of attention that we had brought to the space with the book. And the beauty of that was last year at the Juke Joint. I think it was the Juke Joint was a book that was written by a black author, and it was co-authored by Tiffany Berrier, and they won Best New Cocktail Book. So it just goes to show that the groundwork that one does can benefit everyone and help rise the industry. And I hope that one day Tamika and I can write another book. So that we can ensure that there's so many stories to be told. And so watch this space. We're going to be working on others. But we shone a light on a lot of mixologists around the country. Tiffany Berrier was one. You saw her in the Netflix show, which was about mixologists. She was one of the judges. Tiffany, that's my girl. And then you have people like Carl Franz, who opened 67 Orange Street in New York. I mean, he opened it in Harlem, and it was a very specific style of cocktail bar. It was a speakeasy. It was a very high technique style bar, which matched any of the bars downtown. But he didn't get the recognition and so on that he could have got at the time because he was up in Harlem. If he had been Lower East Side, who knows? He might have got even more attention. But he wanted to stay in Harlem, stay true to the cause, and celebrate black excellence in Harlem. And he has done an amazing job of cultivating talent through that bar. And then there's also others like Glendon Hartley in Washington, D.C. And I met Glendon back in the day when he was a young man. Now he's still a young man. He's still a young man, but He owns a couple of bars, service bar. He owns the Peruvian spot, which is epic. He has a real passion for excellence,
Mhm.
and he is one of those black mixologists that has really done well in Washington D.C. And Washington D.C. is a prolific place at the moment. Capri Robinson has just won best bartender in America, which is
Mhm.
great because she's not your usual wasp kind of
Yeah.
bartender. She's,
Mhm.
you know what I mean? You see her, you're like, wow, well done, girl, you did it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm funny, I'm with her now, so you know
Oh.
what I mean? Big shout out. She can't
I
hear me. She can't hear me. She can't hear me. But whenever I see her, I celebrate her. I'm like, well done, because against all odds, you did it. But she started from way back when she started Chocolate City's Best, which is a foundation place for a lot of black mixologists across the country to swap ideas. It was a support system as well for all of us. And she started that, and now she's getting the recognition that she deserves. So there's a
Wonderful.
lot of movement going on around the country. Atlanta as well is a hotbed of talent, and I love
Mhm.
seeing the black excellence that's going on. What I appreciate as well is through food culture as well. You're seeing a lot of
Mhm.
black bartenders come to prominence, and I speak to a lot of the chefs around how we can work better together with mixologists and
Right.
chefs,
Yeah, I
and
agree.
it's what I mean, create more
Mhm.
symbiotic relationships, and it's
Mhm.
happening. And you're seeing like Chef JJ, who's got Field Trip in Harlem.
Mhm.
He
Mhm.
does this thing called a cookout at Food and Wine.
Wow.
Amazing,
Well, Colin, we're
amazing.
gonna make our way around, and
Yeah.
I hope you don't mind us using your name.
Yeah, I
Do
want to
it,
open some
We're
doors.
do it.
gonna.
Hey, listen, it's funny. My friends turn up. I don't know if any of you have been or heard of Tales of the Cocktails, our biggest industry
Yeah,
festival.
I was
But so
Yeah,
there.
I was
many. Oh, you
there.
were just there.
I
So
know
Uh-huh.
you
funny because
working
so many.
hard.
Yeah, Tamika and I work really well together. Coming back to Tamika, she really felt that stories needed to be told
Yeah,
around the
we're gonna
book.
be speaking with her soon.
You will? Oh,
Yeah,
that's my heart.
yeah.
You know what I mean? And then we actually do book signings at Tails.
Oh,
Oh man, we did a book signing. I think we sold like 60 something books in about, I think it was like 20 minutes.
mm,
Wow, that's
Yeah, there was like a
impressive.
line. And we weren't giving anything away either. You know what I mean? It wasn't like
Yeah,
we're, hey, have a cocktail or,
yeah.
no,
Right,
people
right,
were like,
right.
oh no, we're going to buy this book, sign it for us. And yeah, it
Yeah,
was like
that's
60
yeah.
something
impressive.
books in like 20 minutes, which is amazing. And it's so funny because the bookstore keeps ordering more and more and more, and we keep selling out.
And we
So buy
appreciate you.
Black Mixcellence. It's on.
Yes.
Yes.
It's what I always try and say to people is to get them to go and ask for it at their local bookstore, preferably
Mm-hmm.
black owned if they can. But try and order it from your local bookstore. Go to your local bookstore and ask them. Yeah.
Pro
Yeah.
tips. No,
Yes.
no
Yeah.
gatekeeping. We appreciate it. Listen, we're a two-woman team here, and we're trying to learn and suck in as much as we can.
Yes,
Absorb.
of
Tell us a
course.
bit about you being, a global brand ambassador. How
Oh,
has that helped you absorb some of the cultures, expanded your worldview? Tell us.
yeah. I wouldn't even say even so much a global ambassador. I feel as if I just travel. I love
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
to travel, irrespective of the role that I had. I love to travel. I love to meet people. I think it's important for personal development. It helps you see things differently. I have two boys. I try and travel with them or get them to travel as much as
Mm-hmm.
possible. As I said to my 16-year-old, I said, yo, at the age of 16, he's been to most of the continents in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, yo, at 16, the only place I'd been, I grew up in Ghana. The only place I'd
Right.
been was, I think I'd been to, I think I've been to France, which is literally a ferry ride. You literally catch
Yeah.
a ferry,
Mm-hmm.
you get off the ferry, you wave,
Okay.
you know what I mean? You do whatever you're doing. You know what I mean? You grab a piece of rock, you grab some fish and chips, and then you come back to England. You know what I mean? I don't know. Yeah, that's as far as I got. But it's just, it's really great traveling around and having the ability to be able to travel through what I love and my passion, which
Yes.
is the spirits industry. I like to go and study different alcohols in different places because I think it's important. Knowledge is found fundamental to all that we do. You can't unlearn. The more you learn, the better. You know, if you learn more about the things that you love, you can also impart that passion onto others. So yeah, I mean, traveling is definitely one of the biggest things as an ambassador that I really appreciated having the ability and the fortune to be able to do and share them stories as well with people.
Yeah.
What's something that you're seeing out there? I mean, you're traveling, representation is very big to you
Yeah.
and to us as well. What are you seeing? What are you noticing out there in terms of how representation is changing?
Well, there's a lot more. There's starting to be a lot more women in the industry. I know it sounds weird, right, for me to say that, but I'm starting to see a lot more women in the industry. For example, in South Africa, what we're trying to, and across the continent, what we're trying to do is we're trying to provide scholarships for WSET, which is a spirits education platform. We try and do that because what we're trying to do is um, offer predominantly more women the opportunity to have these courses that they can put onto their resume, which then
Mm-hmm.
uplifts them. And we've just done a first round of the scholarship program at Ajabu. It's on our website, so anyone can apply. For the WSETs, we have a board that's made up of industry professionals, and you apply. And you know, if you get accepted, you get the links to learn. And something that I'm starting to see as a big trend is more women getting into the industry, but it's got to be intentional because otherwise people will just revert back to wasps.
I get it. I get it.
Well, thank you for creating opportunity
Yeah, we
so
try,
that we
you
do
know.
so.
Yeah, we try. It's really important because this is such an incredible opportunity. I remember I spoke to I invested heavily in the Ghana bar community for many
Mm-hmm.
years, and I remember speaking to one of our bartenders from back in Ghana. He's now moved to the UK. I saw him 2 days ago, and I said, "Wow, isn't it amazing that you're here in
Mm-hmm.
London bartending? Who would have thought that your love and your skill and your passion for what you do would bring you
Bring
here?"
it
He
here.
said,
Yeah.
Right.
"I would never have thought that in a million years when I started 10 years ago."
Mm-hmm.
He said, "I was washing dishes in a kitchen. You know, I would
Mm-hmm.
never have thought 10 years later I'll be standing here talking to you, someone I really respect, and
Mm-hmm.
in London and working in a bar in London and making some good money to be able to support my family back home, you
Yeah.
know,
Right.
which is amazing. You know,
Yes.
give
Yes.
give a person a shaker and a mixing tin and a measuring cup, and guess what? They can feed their families for a long time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Everyone needs a good bartender.
Yeah.
As we found out during the pandemic. You remember when everyone was like, "Oh, look at this cocktail that we're making. Oh, this is great. This is so. This is that." And then guess what? As soon as that shutdown was off, what did everyone do? They were like, "Nah, leave that.
We
We're
Yeah.
gone." Everyone's
you
back in the
should see
bars.
us in the kitchen trying to whip something up.
Exactly.
We we do better speaking with all of you and learning from you all than
Yeah.
we do behind, creating our own recipes. How do
Yeah.
you go into creating a cocktail? What's your process?
Well, it depends on what's the purpose of the drink. What is it trying to
Right.
serve? Is it before dinner, after dinner? Is it an after? Is it a sessional drink? There's a big trend at the moment into low proof, no low,
Yeah.
or
Mm-hmm.
low
Yes.
proof alcohol. There's a rise of vermouths, aperitivo hour, which means that
Mm-hmm.
you drink less, but you can kind of just carry on drinking all day at leisure. I'm like, wow, who has that time? I mean, I
Yeah.
don't. But
You're
it's
too much.
but
Oh
it's
man.
incredible though that those are the kind of trends that you're seeing out and about. It's
Yeah.
great.
Listen, you worked hard to get to this place.
I
That's right.
worked, yeah, and I constantly work hard. And the thing is, also, what I love is I do a lot of my best work, I think, in the background, because I'm constantly thinking of ways to uplift all of us,
Right.
and think of ways to integrate more people into the business, and think of ways to, just be expansive. And people don't see that work though. All they see is you at a
No,
party
we
like,
know.
hey, man, I want to do what you do. And I'm like, do you though?
No.
I think to myself, no, you don't. You really don't.
Yeah.
Because if you really knew
So
what it took, you don't want to do it.
for those people who don't see the challenges,
Yes.
who don't know that it's not perfect until you get started, right?
Yeah.
You got to
Mhm.
get started. You got to start somewhere. What's a
Mm.
challenging moment that you had that you want to share?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest challenging moments when we were at Tales of the Cocktail, and the owners of Tales of the Cocktail decided that it was okay to post their faces in blackface for the industry. That was the biggest. Um, Listen, I'm
Wow.
still getting riled up about it now, and this was in 2017. So the industry had a real industry awakening as to, well, what are we doing, and how in this day and age are we still allowing something like that to happen?
Yeah.
It had nothing to do with the industry. What it did have, it had a lot to do with so many entrenched ideas
Yes.
that people fostered and harbored, and I felt it was such a shame that someone who had such prominence within the industry could actually do something like that. And yeah, that was a really tough time. It was for me, for everyone else involved in the industry. It was really hard. That was the biggest challenge, because as someone in the industry, growing up, as a black person, you build the armor. I had the armor. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? But then as I got to a certain stature, started taking some of that armor off. And then to have something like that happen, and I didn't have my defense, shook me. And
Yeah.
yeah, it was tough. It was tough. But
Mm.
as the industry, we've grown through it. We've grown through it together. I had so many people ask me, hey, what should we do? How should we do this? Should we pull out of Tails? Should we stay in Tails? This, that, the other. Community is really important to me.
Right.
I pick community. So I
Mhm.
said, no, let's do this together as a community. Let's build this. Let's change this
Yes.
amazing space that we've all been in, that's helped us connect, collaborate, um, and create these amazing moments and connections. Let's grow it and let's build it like we want to. So yeah, I mean, from 2017 till now, it's very much a lot more diverse. They've made some amazing leaps and bounds in charitable um, donations. They are
Mhm.
very open to helping anyone and everyone to grow in the industry. And then, it's inspired me to start a Jabu, which, I talked about for a long time. And then I listened to
Yeah.
I listened to my my saying of get involved, bruv, and I actually made it happen. My business partner, myself, Mark Holmes, who I love dearly, we've been working together forever. We decided, listen, let's take what he's been in the drinks industry as well. Let's take what we've learned and let's start something on the continent with Ajabu. And we literally started to shine a light. There are other people that have been doing it. There's this woman, Lara Rara, who has been doing a cocktail festival in Lagos, the Lagos Cocktail Week, which so
Mhm.
many more people should go. It's epic. She's been doing it on her own for 10 years. So 10th
Wow.
anniversary this year. So, you should go on Lagos Cocktail Week on
When is
Instagram and
it?
like it. Now.
Now.
Oh,
Oh wow.
Right
What
now,
can you
but it's
do?
all
fine. It's
right.
absolutely fine. But you should get her. You should get her on here, and it's just great that we've had the opportunity. And I think we're really in at a moment where there's a lot of exciting bars and personalities
Yes.
coming out of
Yeah.
the African cocktail culture, and it's great to see. We're starting to see them pop up in Tell's nomination, 50 best bars, and all that.
Mhm.
Hero Bar in Nairobi is on fire right now. That's doing well. Syntax in South Africa, Smoking Kittles, Cause Effect, Talking to Strangers, Anthem, Drinkery.
Love it.
You'll see all of these places when you come to South Africa for Ajabu in November.
Yes.
And in March, you'll see all of these bars and you'll see our partners all coming together to share, connect, collaborate, and celebrate the rich tapestry of the African cocktail culture with the
Yes.
global cocktail community. I'm excited. I mean, I
We're
don't know if you
excited
could
too.
tell.
Yeah, we're
And you know
definitely
what?
excited.
We're thankful that
Yeah.
2017 didn't deter you.
Yeah.
No.
You know, we're thankful that you stayed in the space because it's faces like you that led us to this to say, hey, let's explore more about this.
Yeah.
You know
Truly.
what I mean?
Truly.
Tell me about a Javu. Tell me about the budding moment that it started, planted that seed in your
Yeah.
head, and what it took to get to the execution moment.
Oh, it's always been with me. It's always been
Yeah.
with me
Okay.
as a as a space and a place. It's always been with me. It's how it's executed has taken me many years to get to it, and people have helped along the way as well to germinate and grow that idea. Because we're not an island. That's why you have your
Yeah.
You two are partners in this. It's better to collaborate. I think it's so much harder to do it on your own. And myself and Mark have collaborated to grow this German of an idea into something that we hope one day will be a global cocktail festival that everyone can come to. And the idea is that you come, you come to Africa and you savor some of the amazing flavors that the continent has to offer with
Yeah.
some of the best international bartenders. So many people want to go to Africa. So many people don't go because they then have a vehicle to go to it. Cocktail culture is a great food and cocktail culture is a great vehicle to travel with. So, giving people the opportunity to have a cocktail festival with a food culture a culture festival all mixed into one, and a space for people to connect. That's what a Jabu is. And
Yes.
come, please.
Yes. I don't know about her, but I, I'm free.
Tell us what is in the future for Ajabu. What's in the future for you, Colin? What do you have going on?
Uh, so much. At the moment, I'm currently working with my uh, uh, one of my best friends, Dimitri Lazinski. I mentioned him as one of the black mixologists that we used to work together in the London cocktail scene. He was also the ambassador for Grey Goose Vodka. It's so funny. His name's Dimitri Lazinskas. That does not who walks through the door in your mind. You're thinking of this Russian guy, big Russian guy, or something that walks through. No, a debonair French Creole man. Hello,
Okay.
how are you? It really annoyed me when we used to work together because he can literally speak like 5 languages. You know what I mean? So people will come to the bar and he'll just be like, you flip from French to Italian and you start speaking Polish. You'll speak Russian. He'll speak. I'm like,
Wow.
who is this guy?
That is amazing.
Anyway, amazing. But we had a TV show together called The Cocktail Kings back in the day. It came out in 2006, 7 on the Discovery Channel, and it showed for many years globally. At the moment, there's one clip which is on. It's on YouTube, and it's Cocktail Kings Mojito. If you do that search, you'll see
Okay.
younger Dimitri and I popping
Oh, I
up and
love it.
doing our thing.
All
But
right.
we're trying to see if we can recreate some elements of that show and
Okay.
that experience. We're looking obviously to grow Ajabu as a cocktail festival. We want to bring more global collaborators in and then try and spread it across the continent because we celebrate bars not just in South Africa but across the continent. And
Love it.
yeah, so those are a couple of things that we're working on. And then obviously, I have a couple of kids and a wife that I want to make sure are happy and they're growing up right. You
Yes.
know what I mean? So,
Yes.
I
Yes.
mean, that's it. That's what I've got going on. What about
Yep.
you? What are you looking forward to?
Right? Sharing in a cocktail
Yes.
myself.
Yes.
Right, and just growing Shakespeare and Mingle. We are so excited to have met so many different people, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
they've taken us on their journey. And the storytelling part of it, and the content side of it, the digital creation side, I'm finding joy in. If I can get over to Ajabu and document that, like that would be wild. So I'm gonna put
Yeah.
that on my bucket list.
Excellent. And something that we're starting to see a growth of. You asked me that question, and we hope that you can come because something that we're trying to integrate into Ajabu is black owned brands.
Yes.
and trying to provide them a platform to be able to share their voice with people that come into the festival. Rain Rum, Amma, who owns Rain,
Mhm.
amazing. Lola, who has Pedro's, which is an ekpetiche, one of my favorite spirits. Is a local indigenous West African spirit.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
traditionally made from palm, but it's also made from sugarcane. And then you also have, a few brands that are in the US at the moment. I mean, Jack from Brooklyn with his
Yeah.
Sorrel. I mean, I know you all tried a Sorrel, right?
Listen, no, Kyle, we need an Excel sheet.
Excellent. And I love it because there's a friend of mine, Ian Burrell. I was just with him over the last weekend. And what he's done on the rum segment, he's the
Hmm.
rum ambassador, self titled. And he's been really shouting from the rooftops about rum and rum culture.
Wow.
And he
All
has
right.
this festival called the Rum Experience, which I was just at just now this weekend in London. It was a vibe. I was like,
Wow.
Ian, you need to bring this to the US. You need to bring this to South Africa for us. We need to get involved. This is epic. You just walked in and it's just people everywhere trying different rums. People are
Okay.
dancing. It's a vibe and a
It was
fight.
a
I was like,
vibe. It
oh,
was a
this is
scene.
nice. I was like, this is
Wow.
nice. This is what we need more of. And it's started by a black man. I love that. You know what I mean? It's
Yes.
great. It's so important. And he has this amazing rum as well called Equiano, which is great. It's a really good rum, and it tells the story of Equiano. You should look up his story as a man that he was a slave, bought his freedom through selling rum, and then it
Mm.
basically
Mm.
plots his journey of how he of the rum trade through the bottle and his name and his story.
Oh wow. We're gonna be headed down to Tennessee
Mm.
to explore more about Uncle Nearest.
I mean, hello, duh. I mean, we
Mm.
don't even have to say it.
Yeah.
Baddest in the business. Baddest in the business. So
Yeah.
get over
Yeah.
there. Fawn, I mean, she has done it. And I really appreciate what she's trying to do for the business. And
Mm.
she's really shining a light on what's possible. And she did it through being inquisitive, being
Yes.
passionate, and
Yes.
being
Yeah.
passionate about it,
Hmm.
talking about it, but then actioning it.
Action. Yep.
Yeah.
Action. Let's get
Hmm.
involved, bruv. That's what I say. So let's get involved.
Yes.
Yeah. And we're gonna go get involved. And
Yeah, I
thank you
love
for
that.
being part of Shake Stir Mingle. Thank you for all the tips you dropped, all the names.
Yes. Yes.
It didn't go unnoticed.
We appreciate you. Thank you so much. Thank you for the
Thank you.
opportunity of sharing some time with you all.
You're part of our community
Yes,
now. As we
yes.
are. Hopefully, Shakespeare and Mingle is a part of yours.
It is definitely
All
a
right.
part of mine, and we're definitely going to
Definitely.
work together more. Thank you.
All right.
Good.
Thank you.
Take
All
care.
right.
Thank you. You enjoy the rest of your day, okay?
Peace and love. I'll
All
try.
right. Bye
Bye-bye.
bye.
Bye.